Hello heathens, and welcome to my channel. I am Beauty Heathen, and my channel is generally dedicated to the exploration of paganism through the medium of cosmetics. This week I'm taking it a little bit easy on myself. If you haven't watched my videos earlier in the week, I was a little bit under the weather earlier in the week, plus I had a death in the family, so I've been doing, in general, readings and rituals this week. Or I planned to do a ritual, but Amazon screwed me. So, unfortunately, the ritual aspect of this week, yeah, because I don't think I did one at all. No, it got screwed up. So, I apologize that. So, it was instead readings and rants week. Although it was not something I expected. So, I decided to do another pickacard tonight. This is going to be timeless. This is going to be what can we expect after Mercury retrograde is over. Now, I had a very funny thing happen while I was shuffling the cards. I was like, okay, I need 4 cards, and literally, as I was shuffling, all of a sudden 4 cards popped out of the deck. They popped out upside down. I just laid them out. So I'm going to give you a couple moments to meditate and intuitively check and select which card will be part of your reading. Like I did earlier in the week, I'm going to shuffle live and draw decks as I feel pulled to do so. So card 1 is clear quartz. Card 2 is Icelandic Spar. Card 3 is the Angel Aura Quartz Pyramid. And card 4 is, let me see if I can pronounce this right, Apophyllite, I think is what I found out it was. So, give you a moment, and then I will start in with the readings. And with that, on with the show. Okay, group 1, this is your reading. Let's find out what your beginner card is. Magician in the Mirror. Interesting. Let me actually look that one up because I am not familiar with that card. It's not something that is entirely obvious. So let's look this up. It's card 53. It's the last card of the deck. Okay. Looks like there's something on the back of the book. I know not what it is, but I don't want it getting stuck. There we go. Magician in the Mirror. Knowing and using your true power. Ooh. Interesting. This card upright represents the culmination of your personal and spiritual power at this time. In the Magician's left hand is the flame of passion and action. In his right hand is a vortex of water and the light of reflection. This highly beneficial card is telling you that you are the magician, and within your grasp are the amazing forces of earth and spirit. The water is the energy of yin, and the power of spirit and clarity of thought. The flame is the energy of yang, bringing direction and creativity. Together, they give you the magnificent magic of transformation. The mirror stands beside the magician, reflecting the outer world's response to your choice to use or dismiss the true power that you have. Its silver reflection reveals the future in a mist on the horizon, ready to be magically formed. When you receive the magician upright, you are put on notice that an important and powerful time is at hand. You are the alchemist of your life, and just as an alchemist turns base metals to gold, you are now able to transform your difficulties into great blessings. This is true in every area of your life. Claim your power and embrace your intentions in your heart and in your daily life. Direct your destiny, and the mists of the future will clear into brilliant reality. So, wow, this is an extremely powerful manifestation card. Looks like after the Mercury in retrograde is over, you're going to have a lot of personal power come in. So, let me take a moment. And find which deck wants to speak with you first. Okay, the Moonology deck is acting as a beacon. So let us see what it has to tell you. Yep, those make perfect sense for this card. Let me actually get these better in frame. Okay. So, one of the main things about Mercury in retrograde that many people don't understand is that when Mercury in retrograde occurs, it is supposed to be a time for you not to start new projects. Obviously, if you have something already going, that's a different matter. You need to double check any contracts you sign. You shouldn't be doing anything. And it's a misnomer that Mercury reverses in its how it spins. I forgot the technical term for it. It's late at night and I'm tired. So forgive me for that. What retrograde means is obviously every planet in our solar system has its own specific route around the sun and its own way of spinning. Each planet has its own calendar. Each planet has its own amount of daylight versus nighttime hours, if that makes sense. And when a retrograde happens, and it can happen on any planet, what that means is although the planet is still moving in its normal pattern, to the human eye it looks like it's spinning in reverse. And it doesn't just affect things like communication, it can affect technology and all these other things. And during that time, you're supposed to take time to slow down, reflect on things. It's a time of transformation frequently, where it allows you to self-reflect and look at things that maybe you haven't resolved before. So this reading is actually telling you that it's time to let go of negativity. That's literally the card. Time to let go of negativity and time to not let your past hold you back. Because if you hold on to things that are toxic or heavy, or parts of your past that maybe you haven't completely healed yet, and you continue to carry that energy with you, it's going to affect this. It's going to affect your ability to manifest. So this is actually pointing towards releasing things that no longer serve you, getting rid of that energy once and for all, allowing it to transform and allow it to push you forward into a more positive outcome. And it says take time to breathe out. So that indicates to me that you should be meditating. I am actually getting a flash in my head of go out and go walking, go to a park, go somewhere in daylight when it's sunny, and just go out for a walk, even if it's around the block. That doing that will be very healing and cathartic to your spirit and allow you to help release a lot of the negativity. I could go into the brain chemistry aspect of serotonin and exercise being good for serotonin and all of that kind of stuff, but serotonin production, I should say. But that's literally what I'm seeing as something that is going to be beneficial for you to do. So, let me take a moment, see who wants to speak next. Interesting. I did not expect my eye would go there. Or I would be pulled in this direction, but there's a reason for everything. So we're going to see what the Romance Angels deck has to say. And we will see if maybe some cords need to be cut, or if you can expect some romance. We're about to find out. Okay, so, okay. Alright, it looks definitely like if you're not already with somebody, or perhaps you're just meeting someone, it looks like it's possible you're going to have some sort of love coming into your life. I see worth waiting for. So maybe you've been single for a while. Maybe you haven't really been dating much in the modern world. I'm not surprised. uh, but that's more a reflection on dating apps, and it can be frequently hit or miss type of thing. But it looks like divine timing is hitting you. Divine timing is at work in your love life, and the card says worth waiting for it. Oop. And it does look like this is a past life relationship, so this could be soulmate, it could be twin flame, or it could just be karmic in some way. You have known each other before. It could even be someone you've dated before or have known already. So keep that in mind. But it seems to me that there might be something that may have gone on before. Maybe this is an ex, or somebody who is just coming around again. Because the next card that popped up was heart-to-heart conversations. And it says, honestly discuss your feelings with each other. So, regardless of, you know, new relationships and everything of that nature, it's kind of funny because I'm that perpetually single friend who gives great advice. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Transparency and honesty is one of the most important things when it comes to relationships. You need to build trust, and you need to build a relationship built around trust. If you don't have trust in your relationship, you don't have anything. And the only way that you're really going to develop that is not just taking time to get to know one another, but having those honest discussions that, you know, may not be so easy to have. So, let's see. We put this to the side, and who wants to talk next? Okay. Whoopsie. Me knocking my own crystals over. The Raven's Wand Oracle wants to speak last. So, let's see what she has to say. This is one of my newer decks, like the Energy Oracle cards. But I have to say, it's a beautiful deck, and it's one I'm really enjoying working with. This is only the second time that I have, but me and my tiny hands make shuffling not so easy. I can do it. Not out of being stubborn, but out of being determined. Let's do this. I can stretch my fingers. I know I can do this. Whoop. Let me put that book to the side. That might help. Now, when it comes to manifesting, while I'm shuffling the deck, one thing that's kind of important to do is put your intention out there, but try not to pay attention to it or keep focused on it at all times. Like, when is it going to happen? Where is the thing that I asked for? You know, I'm waiting for this. Where is it? And all that kind of stuff. And even when it comes to the relationship aspect, coming from somebody who's been there, don't hold it in the forefront of your mind, because otherwise it takes longer. And sometimes you can be your own worst enemy and build your own level of resistance. So let's see what these have to say. Song of the Sea, Nature of the Beast, and finally, Taking to Heart. So let's see what these have to say to you. If I recall correctly, they are in alphabetical order, and yes, they are. Woohoo, because they're not always. Song of the Sea. Oceana is a trusted spirit guide to witches, but being a creature of the sea, not land, her mind and language can be hard for humans to penetrate. Seal Namara is a young witch seeking guidance, but to fully communicate with Oceana, she must bear her innermost being. We trust only very few to come so close, and the act requires courage. Sometimes we trust the wrong party and thus feel betrayed, but our error was only in our choice. Having the courage to trust is never wrong, but we must be cautious and discerning. Next is Nature of the Beast. Rooter, or Rudy, as the witches know him, is a fearsome wild boar that adopted the coven years ago and appears reluctant to leave. Zarithia Berry takes her turn at feeding him kitchen scraps. None of the witches are afraid of him, not because he's tame, but because they respect his nature. He is wild, and they do not challenge that. Rooter might be true to his nature, but as humans we have a choice that Rooter lacks. We can choose to be brutish or civilized, even if it's not an easy choice to make. The decision is ours. And finally is Taking to Heart. Today is the solstice, and Emily Meadows wears her finest for the occasion. She feels very grown up and regal, but it only takes an obstinate goose to barge past, and Emily feels like just a humble witch again, but she knows not to take it personally. After all, the goose wasn't being rude. It's much harder when people say or do hurtful things. Realize that opinions contrary to your own are just that, opinions. They're just people projecting their own reality, and it can't affect yours unless you allow it to. The goose wanders off, and Emily feels special once more, with neither party taking it personally as it should be. So, based off of these three cards, I would say this might actually tie into the person who's coming. And I get the feeling that this person who is on their way to you, I'm getting the feeling is coming around Ostara or May, somewhere around then. But I'm getting the feeling that you're going to have to take the time after Mercury in retrograde to do some soul searching, to release things that you may be carrying with you from previous hurts. When I said get back into nature, it might actually help you to go to a place where there's water. It doesn't have to be the ocean, it could be a lake. If you have a park with any sort of like water source nearby, that might be helpful. I know personally, I find a lot of healing when it comes to water. And there's something that you can actually do where, trying to think of how best to phrase this. If you can, if it's especially like an area that's a beach type area, and you can scoop up some of the dirt or the sand, scoop it up into your hands, and I want you to hold it in your hands, and I want you to envision every past hurt, everything that you may be carrying with you, be they traumas, be they hurt feelings, be they anything that has wounded you. And I want you to envision pushing that into the sand. And when you're done, I want you to take the sand and throw it into the water. And if you can, take your hands and rinse them in the water to get off all the sand. Because basically what you're doing is a very rudimentary ritual of releasing all that no longer serves you and releasing it into the water, especially if it's salt water. This is a purification process, and it allows the things that you are carrying with you to be purified by the salt water or by the water source in front of you. So I hope this guidance helps, and I hope you take this guidance for what it is. Be sure to allow yourself to be an open communicator and see what other things you can work on manifesting. You never know. So with all of that said, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and until next time, blessed be. Icelandic Spar, this is your reading. So, an interesting thing about Mercury in retrograde, it's frequently a misnomer or misperception that the time of Mercury in retrograde is when Mercury spins backwards on its axle. That's not true. First and foremost, in our galaxy, every single planet goes into its own retrograde. Every single planet has its own independent duration of time. So each planet does not have a 24-hour day. Each planet does not have a 365-day year, or every 4 years, 366. Each planet has its own time frame. And when any planet goes into retrograde, basically what it does is, to the human eye, even though it is still moving in its normal rotation around the sun, it appears to the human eye to spin in reverse when it's not. But during these times, it is an important time of self-reflection. It's especially for Mercury in retrograde. It's a time when you don't want to start new projects. It's a time when you want to double check any contracts. You want to make sure that be extra careful with communication, because you tend to have increased misunderstandings, and you can also experience things like issues with technology and so on and so forth. So this reading is to determine what you can expect after the end of Mercury in retrograde. So let's turn over this card and see where it starts. Patience. I think that one's a bit self-explanatory, but nonetheless, let's pull out the book and see the full scope of the message it is giving you. Okay. This is a deck I just got over the weekend, so I'm still learning all of the meanings. Patience. Peaceful presence, letting go of desperation. This card shows a beautiful angel holding a clock in the stillness of winter. Her quiet, peaceful energy is telling you that it's time to release the old urgency and to look at things with a much clearer perspective. When this card is upright, it's telling you to relax and let go of the single-minded desperation that's been driving you. Don't try to force your will on only one option. When you think there's only one solution to satisfy your need or to make you happy, you are blocking many other potential solutions from coming your way. Let go of the anxiety and be flexible. Be patient, open, and creative. Choose to be peaceful in the present. The universe has more options than you may be aware of. Quiet your mind, broaden your perspective, and let them come through. I don't know why I started to feel a little emotional there right when I was reading that. I don't know if anybody, either in my daily life or whatnot may be having an emotional issue at the moment, or I don't know if perhaps the person that I was reading that to was facing some difficulty. Just made me a bit sad right there for a moment. So let me take a moment and see which deck would like to speak first. Okay. Let me actually put this one back in its box real quick. Put it off to the side. Sometimes I find if I have brighter colors right next to me, my eye tends to gravitate there. But thankfully, the deck that wanted to speak first, energy was a bit stronger than the color of that box and the cards in it. So let's see what the moon deck wants to say. And like with other readings, I am shuffling live. That way you see what I see as it comes up. And I found after I think it was my very first pick a card, when I spent several hours sitting here shuffling and shuffling and shuffling, trying to get the right amount of cards popping out for each person. I realized in that moment that it might not be conducive to the most concise or clear pick a card reading, because you never know. Sometimes people need the same cards, and you're not going to have them show up for more than one person unless you're using the same deck with all the cards in it again. So okay, let's see. Oh, very powerful cards. Good. Yep. Okay. So in this time of patience, these cards are largely telling you it's time to work on you. Not just for healing, but as we saw in the patience card, creativity is a very strong thing that's coming through on that card. So these two cards right here, healthy boundaries, keep me centered and balanced. And this card is, I focus on what is working. So maybe if you have been, in this card it talked about desperation, if you've been struggling, working and working and working and working at something, and it's just not working out for you, it may be time to switch gears. And sometimes that can be scary. It can be absolutely terrifying. I can tell you personally, when I first started this channel, I was absolutely scared out of my mind. Forget that noise. That's my puppy in the background. She wanted to be in the room with me today. I was like, people are gonna hate me, people are all the anxiety thoughts that come into your mind when it comes to doing something new and something you've never done before were creeping up, and they were pounding the crap out of me. Even when I uploaded and released the video today that I did, today's Thursday, by the way, just to give reference, I was having a borderline panic attack because that video was extremely hard for me to make. It was very emotional for me to make. And when you put so much of yourself out there, when you put so much energy into something because you're passionate about it and because it's something that triggers something within you and makes you emotional, it can be terrifying to put that much of yourself out there for strangers to view and see. So it was very scary, and it looks like it may be coming upon time for you to do something else like that, because this third card says, I am courageous, steady, and strong. So I want you to pause this video. I'm going to hold this card right up. Pause this video and take a screenshot or a picture of it. And each day, I want you to take a look at this card and remind yourself, you are stronger and more courageous than you think you are. Okay? And I know it can be scary when you're doing something new, especially if you have anxiety issues like I do. Oof. But it'll be worth it in the end. And here's the thing. When you're trying something new, don't put pressure on yourself to succeed. Just because you're doing something new doesn't mean it's going to be successful, but at least you tried, you know? It's like with, let me give an example, any great inventor out there, before they got their final thing, they went through trial and error thousands of times before they found what worked correctly. You know? I don't want to say Thomas Edison, because Thomas Edison basically stole a lot of things from Tesla, but that's neither here nor there. So, okay, now that we've done those 3 cards, let me see who wants to talk next. I'm actually getting a picture in my head of the deck that wants to talk next, which sadly I don't really want to reach for, but it's the one that wants to talk next, so I don't know what's going on here, but Dark Mirror Oracle, here we go. I will likely have to look up the meanings of the cards. This is not a deck I've used very much. Okay, so I'm not going to be one of those readers who's all love and light. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm just going to give you the honest, bold-faced truth of everything that comes up as it comes up. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the oh my god. So, it has to speak to you for a reason. We will find out why. Okay. Okay. This book is a little bit more difficult to discern, so I'm probably not going to read it out loud. I'm going to read it to myself, mainly because I want to see what it says, the full context of it, and then I'll read this one and discern what it is saying. That makes me sad. See, that's again, I feel it coming through. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Downcast pride. Hmm. Oh, this makes me a bit sad. I'm just gonna come right out with it. It seems to me like you're dealing with a lot of depression. Temple of my body has to deal with feeling like you're not good enough or you don't deserve blessings. You don't deserve good things. It kind of goes back to this card with the patience and trying to work through that desperation. And downcast pride pretty much has a similar meaning. They're both cards exhibiting depression and feeling lost and feeling This one, especially Temple of My Body, is talking about eating, downcast pride. Let me just look at it again real quick. Yeah, both of these cards are depression cards. Sadness and grief is deeper than the skin. The only delusion is a gray sky. Lack of self-esteem. This one even indicates potentially an abusive relationship. Oh, this person makes me want to give him a hug. Mainly because I've been there and I know how destructive that is. And how hard it is to see any kind of bright spot. And feeling desperate and like things just aren't going your way and everything can absolutely, of course, and very logically trigger these emotions in you. And that feeling of just despair, and maybe you're not eating as healthy as you could be, and you're just exhausted all the time. So for the person who this reading is for, I'm going to strongly encourage you, if you can, to see someone. A therapist, even if it's a spiritual healer or a spiritual leader, if you happen to be of the organized religion, or even could be a friend. You need to talk to somebody. And you need to vent out these feelings, because the more you hold them in, the worse they get and the worse they magnify, and the stronger they take over your mind. And when you're in this feeling of despair, it's hard to see the light through the darkness. And it's hard to see the forest through the trees. You know that saying? Oh, that made me sad. Now I know doubly why it is this one made me sad when I was reading it. Okay, so now that we see the problem, now that we see the issues, and obviously being creative, doing something creative or something you've never done before can help pull you out of this. Who wants to speak next to give them guidance as to how to come through this? I'm seeing my Gaia Oracle. Sometimes when I close my eyes, I can see the deck. And sometimes my eyes have to be open. It has to be one or the other. So let's see what Gaia Oracle has to say. Whoops. My bad. Bad shuffle. Itty bitty hands, very big cards. Ah. Okay. While I'm doing this, if you are someone who is currently experiencing depression, if you are somebody who is facing a lot of struggles right now, I know personally it's really hard to hear and believe what I'm about to say, but please know that you are loved. People care about you, and I'm not just talking about your family, I'm talking about even I care about you, even though I've never met you and likely don't know who you are or anything about you. You're not alone. The struggles you face, the struggles you're going through, are struggles that many people are experiencing right along with you. And sometimes it helps to know that you're not on your own with this. Good. Oh, okay. So interesting, the reading before yours was talking about water. Yours is talking about fire. Being encouraged to pull more cards, so this one wanted to talk to you. Two things with fire. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an easy little ritual that you can do for yourself. Because here's the thing with the fire. First of all, the one that I'm so glad came up for you is this card for peace. Dissolving unwanted or disturbing thoughts. That's the first one that came up. So you're going to get through this. It's just going to take a little bit of work and time, okay? You will get through this. Things will get better. And before I get to these two, because when I get to these two, I'll get into what I was about to mention. Sacred Heart is talking about passion, love, and spiritual communication. So perhaps actually forcing yourself, and I know especially when you're in the throes of depression, the last thing you want to do is go out and interact with people, but I'm actually encouraging you to push yourself. And I know sometimes when you are deeply, deeply depressed, just getting out of bed is the hardest thing on the face of the planet to do. When I was in the deepest depths of depression, I literally had to force myself to be my own cheerleader because all I wanted to do was sleep. I wasn't eating, I wasn't talking to anybody, I wasn't doing anything for myself, I wasn't bathing, I wasn't brushing my teeth, I wasn't brushing my hair, and nobody wants to talk about the ugly side of depression, but man, it gets really frickin' ugly. So I know, I've been there. And I had to go to work. I really didn't want to go to work. I really, really, really just wanted to stay in that bed and not move. But I had to go. Responsibilities, man. Adulting, it sucks. And in order to push myself to that point that I could physically get myself to work, with every little thing that I did, I had to congratulate myself that I did it. Hey, look at that. I got up out of bed. Hey, look at that. I managed to get dressed and put on clothes. That's pretty good. Hey, I was able to put on my shoes. So far, so good. I'm doing okay. I'm being able to take care of my pets. I'm being able to let my puppy out and go to the bathroom. I'm being able to, although, sorry, no, at the time I didn't have her yet. I'm being able to pack my bag with food. I don't know if I'll eat it, but at least it's there. Hey, look at me. I'm getting water. I'm actually putting on my coat. I'm actually walking out the door. I'm doing this. I can do it. Each and every small step took effort, but in congratulating myself mentally or even out loud with each small step, it kind of helped me push a little bit further and go a little bit further. So I want you to try to do that, and I want you to try to find maybe a community group, or I know sometimes some colleges give free classes, and sometimes they'll do ones that are spiritual in nature, like a meditation class or something, and they can be cheap. Sometimes your towns may host things like this, and I want you to try to find one that you seem to find a little bit interesting, and I want you to try to push yourself with each little step to go out and participate in it, because I'm getting the feeling that meditation is going to help you a lot with spiritual communion. That's going to help a lot. It's going to help your soul. And I see that this, right now what you're going through is transformative. It's sacred journey. It's life cycles, family, and transformation. So it very well may be that you may be the person in your family who is meant to break generational curses or cycles of toxicity. And I know that can be extremely, extremely difficult and burdensome to deal with, where you don't feel like you quite fit in. And if you are that person in your family, I know it's really hard. I know I'm that person in mine. So try to be patient with yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. If it takes a little bit more time, that's okay. There's no rush. But going through and doing these healing things and going through this transformative cycle is going to lead you to positive things, which I'm getting to. I want you to keep a dream journal. It doesn't have to be something fancy. It can be just something you pick up from the dollar store, as long as it's like a notebook or something that you can write in. That's fine. But if you want to pick up something pretty for yourself and treat yourself to something like a fancier dream journal or something of that nature, do that. It's okay to treat yourself. It's okay to do something good for yourself. because this is saying right here, the dreams. Something is revealed, insight, breakthrough, and it most likely will be communicated to you in dream state. So if you wake up, you remember your dreams, I want you to write them down. And they may not make sense in the moment. It may take even looking up the meaning of specific things in your dream to make sense of what they mean. But I have a feeling that they're going to help you. So I want you to, before I get here, I want you to feel rest assured that this is literally going to be the start of something new. Okay? This cycle is going to end. This oppressive cycle is going to end. Whatever crap you've been going through, there's going to be a break, and things are going to get better. It literally said so. Okay? Dissolving unwanting or disturbing thoughts. It's going to get better. If you want to take a screenshot of this card too and remind yourself that there is still a light at the end of the tunnel. You just got to keep going a little bit longer, okay? Now for you, your purification and healing is going to be through fire. And I know that might sound a bit scary, but in paganism, and especially in witchcraft and doing rituals and things of that nature, each element has its own potentiality for purification of things. The reading before you, their purification, their cleansing process was through water. Yours is through fire. So, what I want you to do in purification fire, bare essentials, the naked truth, wholeness. I want you to take a piece of paper, okay? And I want you to write down everything that you've been holding within that's been burdening you. Every single negative thought, every single postal carrier delivered the wrong mail. I mean, it can be anything. Whatever is burdening you, whatever you're holding on to, I want you to write it down on this paper. And I want you to get a heat-safe container. And I want you to take the heat-safe container and that piece of paper and take them outside. This is very important. And I want you to be very careful, and especially if you are not an adult watching this, make sure you have an adult supervising and assisting you with this process. And I want you to take that paper and I want you to crumple it up. And I want you to either light a match, take a lighter, whatever it is you have, and set it and light it. And as soon as you do that, put it down in the heat-safe container and say, I now release you and transmute all of this into positive energy and blessings to come into my life. I release you. You no longer serve me. You no longer serve any benefit in my life. And from this point forward, I am free of you. And my life is changing for the better. Do this as often as you need to. It may take more than one time doing it, and anytime you start feeling those burdens or those negative self-talk or anything start creeping in, I want you to do this again. And just keep doing it, and just keep doing it. And each time you do it, make sure the paper burns all the way through, and take some salt, whether it's table salt or sea salt or something, and just put it over the ashes after they've cooled. And after the ashes have cooled and the salt has been put on them as an additional purification process, you can then bury the ashes in the earth. Just dig a small hole, put the ashes in the earth, and cover them up, because the earth is an additional purification step. So I know it seems like a lot, and I know this has been a longer video, but I really felt it was important to take a little extra time on your reading and a little extra time to talk to you, especially with what came up in your reading. And I really, truly hope that this reading and this guidance may assist you, and I really, really am sending you love and hugs, and I really hope things turn around for you soon. It's coming. You just gotta be patient a little bit longer, okay? So, until next time, I wish you all of the brightest blessings the universe has to offer. Okay, Angel Aura Quartz Pyramid, this is your reading. Now, before I flip the card, Mercury in retrograde, there's a few misnomers about Mercury in retrograde, and I've been seeing them going around quite a bit this week, where people are saying, well, it means Mercury is spinning in reverse. It's not. Mercury in retrograde is a time of self-reflection. It's a time to release things that are no longer serving you. It's definitely a time where you can have communication issues. It's a period of time that happens about 4 times a year, where 3 or 4 times? I think it's 4 times. Where you may have technology issues, where communication between people and misunderstandings are ramped up. And any planet in our solar system can have a retrograde time period. And many times there is more than one planet in retrograde simultaneously. Forgive me, I need a little sip of water. The reading before yours was a bit heavy, so I just had to do some smoke cleansing in here a bit. And it took me a while to get through it, so. But during a retrograde cycle, depending on the planet, different things happen. But specifically for Mercury, you have to do things like be careful of signing contracts, starting new projects, that kind of stuff. If you have been following this kind of content from other channels and platforms, you've probably heard all that kind of stuff before. But when Mercury is in retrograde, it appears to the human eye to be spinning in reverse. It's not, but it's just how our eye perceives it, okay? So with that said, your reading is for what can you expect after Mercury in retrograde is over. Ooh, storm warning. Let us see here. Man, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I went into this going, I really hope everyone has good readings, and then all of a sudden you got some. The one before yours was a bit heavy, so let's see what's going on here. Storm warning, clouds on the horizon. Now, if you are looking for happy, fluffy readings, I am not your person. I'm just going to give it to you like it's coming up. This card indicates a potential difficulty either on the external world or within yourself and your emotional life. The difficulty is coming closer, and you may have already heard rumblings of potential problems around you. The caution here is to be conscious, yet not fearful. Consider what's going on and look at the situation with calm clarity. Investigate your options and honor yourself and your intentions. Stand up for yourself and take action on your own behalf. As with all difficulty, even the worst storm passes. Always remember you have the power and the wisdom to handle whatever may come your way. So now that we revealed that card, let me close my eyes and ask, which one of the decks want to speak to you first? Dragon Fae. This is one of my favorite decks. And it's funny because before I bought this deck, I had been eyeballing it for a while at my local pagan store. But the artwork on the box, which they have since changed, was a bit scary and intimidating to me. So it took me a while to pick it up, but I'm also glad that I did. So, okay. What do you have to say to group 3? And like with all the readings that I'm doing today, I'm doing live shuffling. Makes my life a little bit easier. Makes the readings more accurate. Because I have found personally for me, when I did the very first pick-a-card that I did, trying to get the same amount of cards in every pile or whatnot, it's hit me in the moment after I had done the readings that, you know, there may be decks or cards that need to show up more than once for people. So, and especially where that was 8 piles, that was a lot of cards. So, I'm enjoying taking this from a different perspective now and just doing live shuffling to ensure that whatever the cards have to tell you are what they tell you in the moment. So, have courage. Open your heart. And justice will prevail. So there you go. The funny thing is I had that card pop in my head while I was closing my eyes and trying to ask which deck wanted to speak to you, and when that one popped in my head. So don't worry, whatever this storm warning is about and whatever stuff is going on, things are gonna be okay. Have courage. Things are gonna be okay. Open your heart. I get the feeling frequently when this pops up, it has to do with romance, but I get more in the feeling of this where I have a feeling that whatever this is has to do with more your trust was broken. You know, it could also be involve something legal, because, you know, justice will prevail. It doesn't necessarily, but it could. And I get the feeling mainly that your trust was broken. So this isn't just a matter of, you know, an incoming storm or anything of that nature, but I get the feeling this was personal. And you may be dealing with a wounded heart as a result. This card is telling you, try not to let yourself shut down. Try not to let yourself wall up and shut everybody out, and try your best to not guard yourself so much that you shut people out who really and truly love you and may be trying to help you and may be there for you in this process, okay? And I know, especially when your trust is broken, that can be a very hard thing to do, because all of a sudden it's like, well, this person that I trusted with all my heart and cared about just stabbed me in the back. What makes me think that, you know, other people around me aren't going to do the same thing if this person could do that to me? Does that sound familiar? So, try not to let that happen. Do not worry so much. Things are going to be okay. Justice will prevail. So, who wants to speak next? Moonology. So, what do you have to say to group 3? See, this size deck is perfect for my hands. I can actually shuffle this easily. The bigger decks, they can be a bit of a pain in my butt. But we shall see. What do you have to say to group 3? When I shuffle, I don't even look at what the cards are. I look up, so I don't even know what's coming. Time for healing. Hold your vision. Interesting. A romantic cycle begins. Interestingly enough, I'm hearing pull forth. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to see here. Here's my thing about this card. I'm not so sure this actually literally means a romantic cycle is beginning, because this has to do with new moon in Libra. Libra literally has the scales of justice as its symbol. I think this is reconfirming that justice will prevail. You are going to get justice. I think this is more in this sense about new beginnings, and that justice is coming your way. Time for healing. That kind of goes back to that open your heart thing. Don't let yourself shut down. Allow yourself to grieve for whatever loss you have incurred. If it's a loss of a friendship, if it's a loss of somebody you loved in your life, even if it's not like they passed away, a loss is a loss. Allow yourself to grieve and release that relationship. It no longer serves you. Your hard work is paying off. So if this is in fact some sort of like legal struggle, whatever evidence or information you are providing to whomever you need to, whatever workings you are doing, be they magical or mundane, things are going to be okay. Hold your vision. That is about staying focused on the end game. And I know it's really hard when somebody stabs you in the back or something like this happens to not allow your emotions to manipulate what you do. I know it's really hard, especially when you're hurt. But I'm going to encourage you to do your absolute best to separate the emotional aspect from whatever you're dealing with from the issue at hand. And I know that is a struggle. I know it is really hard. But especially if this is in fact something involving a court case, the courts tend to look more favorably on the people who can keep their calm in the situation. So just a little bit of guidance there. I'm not saying that if you've been victimized, you're not allowed to express your feelings. Obviously, and of course you are. I'm just, sometimes emotions can muddy what it is that you are trying to do and trying to accomplish. So try to hold on to your vision and try your best not to let things force your emotions to the surface and allow them to corrupt what it is you're trying to accomplish here. Okay? So, again, new moon in Libra, new moons. You've got 2 of them here are also new beginnings. And new moon in Libra. Libra is the sign of justice, scales of justice. I don't think this has to do as much with romance as it does that. So, there's that. And I didn't even have to close my eyes and ask. My psychic tarot wants to speak with you. Ah! The box runneth over. In case you are watching this video for the first time and you're wondering, what on earth happened to her box? Well, my puppy has very bad separation anxiety. And I had just gotten these cards. And I made the mistake of leaving them low enough in a place where she could reach them. And she decided to punish her mama. And literally chew the box. Thankfully, she did not get the cards inside, otherwise I would have been a little upset. Obviously more at myself because it was my own fault. I left them low enough where she could reach them, but, you know. I'm just glad the booklet and the cards are okay. That's all I'm saying. This is a very thick deck. There's a lot of cards in it, and it can make it a little bit harder to shuffle for me. The size is okay, it's just very thick. Okay. Okay. What do you have to tell group 3? There you go. That's your 3rd card telling you everything's going to be okay. So, I have spoken before about symbols and how things tend to come in 3. Yeah, emotional loss ties into this. This felt personal. This feels like whatever happened here, it feels like it was somebody you were connected to, but now you have a 4th freaking card saying victory and success. Don't worry. Don't worry, the universe has your back. You are okay. Movement, choices, and decisions. Kind of self-explanatory. Through this process, especially if it is a legal issue, you are going to have to make some difficult decisions. You are going to have to make some choices as to different ways you want to go about this. This does involve some sort of emotional loss for you. So it could be some sort of issue with the person that you have this issue with. It's okay to grieve the loss of that relationship. It's okay to be angry at this person. It's okay to feel sad that this person you loved and trusted hurt you. It's okay to feel that. Allow yourself to go through the grieving process, because if you hold too much onto that anger, it's just going to prolong the healing process. So it's okay to grieve and it's okay to be sad. Power, I get the feeling, has to do with you reclaiming your own power, but it also could be indicative of a judge And the funny thing is, when it first popped up, I'm like, ooh, judge. So, let's see. Solar plexus chakra. And let me look up that power card. This book isn't as easily laid out, so that one's on 41 and 157. So let's look at 41. Power. As a spiritual being, you have unlimited power at your command. This card represents inner strength, willpower, courage, compassion, generosity, and love. What was one of the first cards that came up for you? Have courage. So this is basically reaffirming that. At any moment, these beautiful qualities can assist you in coping with an adverse condition in front of you or the many surrounding your life. Set aside the necessary time to resolve such issues. Power represents more than physical external strength. It can also be channeled emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. When you have balance over mind, body, and soul, and with the power of spirit, anything can be overcome to achieve a positive result. Power and strength can be developed to work in harmony or in any given situation. Every obstacle, every error helps build your knowledge and understanding of the world around you. When you make a mistake, it's a chance for you to stop, listen, and ask yourself, what am I supposed to be learning here, and how can I make this situation better? Mistakes and great wake-up calls in that they provide you with opportunities to discover your weaknesses, what needs to be changed, and which areas of your life need improving. Equally, they can be blessings in disguise. Just remember, you are power. Okay? So let's look up solar plexus chakra. 157. Okay. Very, very, very on key chakra that came up. Obviously the color coordinating with the chakra is yellow. The element is fire. And the key words affiliated with this chakra are I can, which also goes along with power and having courage. The solar plexus chakra is located between the navel area just below the rib cage. It represents power, vitality, willpower, self-esteem, and confidence. Appropriate. The energy center where your emotions and feelings are recorded. This chakra is associated with clairsentience or inner feeling, which is the major psychic reception area. To balance the chakra, you may want to try yoga, dance, and movement, or breath work with color. In addition, be aware of people who drain your energy. Workshops and classes that focus on empowerment will help you open and harmonize this area. So with that, this has been your reading. I hope this guidance finds you well. I hope these words of encouragement assist you. Am I missing a card? I feel like I'm missing a card. Triumph, victory, and success. This was 1, that was 2, that was 3. I'm missing a card somewhere. Ugh, I'll look for it in a second. Anyway, I hope this helps you. I hope that it... Oh, there it is. That what I've said here may help. And I hope that this impending storm clears for you soon. Don't worry, things will be okay. And until next time, brightest blessings. Okay, card number 4, this is your reading. Before I get right into it, I wanted to explain a couple things about Mercury in retrograde, because there's a little bit of misinformation I've been being spread around the internet lately, especially on Twitter. Mercury in retrograde is a time of introspection. It's a time of releasing things that maybe you've been holding on to, things that no longer serve you, things that maybe you need to work on. And the time of Mercury in retrograde, as much as we all complain about it, is meant to be a very transformative and healing period of time that encourages you to slow down, self-reflect, and work on the things that you may have been putting off. Mercury in retrograde can be a bit of a turbulent time. It's a time where communication can be affected. It's a period of time where technology can be affected. And unlike what many people may think, all of the planets in our galaxy go through their own period of time of retrograde. Every planet in our solar system has their own period of time, has their own calendar, has their own independent time frame. I guess you could say. So you could go to another planet and their daylight period, or the amount of hours in their day period, will be different. It'll change. Every planet doesn't have 24-hour days or 365 days in a year, or 366 like this year. So each planet controls something different, and when the planets go in retrograde, they may appear to the human eye to be spinning on their axis in reverse. They're not. It's just the way it appears to the human eye. So that's what marks the retrograde periods. So you selected Apophyllite, and let us see what your first card reveals. Ooh, the sun. I'm going to tell you, I had one reading that was very, very sad, another reading that was a bit positive and focused around love, then one that was kind of focused around some icky stuff. So let's see what yours comes. The sun is about new beginnings and great creativity. The sun brings blessings to the earth, and this card portends blessings in your own life as well. Just as the sun nurtures the earth, bringing new life in the spring and summer, this is your time for a new beginning. The onset of nurturing new light in your life, the light of divine inspiration and personal growth. This card often marks a time of great creativity, bringing the culmination of an important new project, such as the birth of a baby, or the writing of a publication of a book, or even the birth of a new you. Now is the time to put your energy into expressing your truth and vision. Visualize the light of divine love pouring into your heart and mind like the rays of the sun, bringing inspiration, growth, and abundant blessings. See the future you want to create, and know the sun is shining on your intentions now. So, with that, who wants to speak first? Closing my eyes, clearing my head. Okay. Indigo Angel. I have too many decks to just keep them all stacked right next to me, so sometimes I have to reach across a bit. So, what does Indigo Angel have to say to you? Oh, there's one thing I forgot to mention. During Mercury in retrograde, it's not just technology and communication that can be affected. You're encouraged not to start new projects during it because it should be a time of self-reflection, and if you were to have any sort of contracts or anything, you should always double check them, and especially have a lawyer check them, just to make sure everything is as it should be. Because let's be real here. Mercury in retrograde lasts about a month, and sometimes you just can't wait to sign a contract. So, make sure your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, and make sure you cover your butt and read everything 2 or 3 times just to make sure everything's okay. So, okay. Interesting. I might have to look these up. So, show appreciation obviously is talking about showing gratitude. In the law of attraction, that's especially important. The more you show you're grateful for the things that you already have, the more likely you are to attract the things that you want. So, let's see. Authority and acceptance. Let's see. Well, acceptance. As an indigo, you're built to question everything as part of your mission of making healthful changes to this planet. However, this characteristic may cause you to reject part of your life that's necessary in order for you to get to the next step. That frequently happens. This card is a message for you to search through your life and determine if there is anything or anyone you are rejecting. Accepting your life completely is the best thing you can do for yourself right now. While this may not be easy or even seem right, know that you simply cannot change everything you do not like, and certain things must be tolerated in this lifetime. Ask your angels to bring you strength and comfort to make letting go and accepting easier. And authority. The way our world is currently designed, people in authority impose rules upon us. In many situations, it must be this way to maintain order. As an indigo, you possess an inner truth detector. I call it my inner bullshit meter. Telling you that people in power often abuse such authority. This is one of the most important cards you can receive because your role in the world is to help redesign our planet and society to become a place of fairness. When dealing with authority figures, please know that anger will not get you anywhere, but calm assertiveness definitely will. Anytime you feel controlled or ruled by someone, ask the angels to guide you through the situation in a way that will bring about and perpetuate the most peace. In this way, you clear the path for others who will benefit from your peaceful leadership. So, let's be real about law of attraction and transformation. When you go through transformative cycles like Mercury in retrograde, it often happens that you outgrow things, you outgrow situations, you outgrow people. Could be you're outgrowing your job, could be outgrowing people that you once held dear to you. And sometimes you just have to accept the fact that it's time to move forward. It can be very difficult to do. especially if it comes to a job or if it comes to people that you really cherish and love. But sometimes you have to learn to accept that sometimes you have to, in order to move forward, you have to let go of the things, the people, the places that aren't helping you transform and progress past where you are. So, let's see. Where's the... trying to make sure I don't keep anything out too much, because the more decks I have in front of me, the less likely I am to channel out who wants to speak next. Gaia. See, this is why I've been doing my pick-a-cards this way now, because I used this deck earlier in another reading, and now it wants to talk to you. And if any of the cards I used in the previous reading want to speak to you, they wouldn't have come up had I done the similar style pick-a-card that I did the first time, you know? So, let us see what it has to say to you. In this way, by shuffling live, you get live answers. You see I'm not stacking the deck. You see I'm not... Whoop! That was my bad. I lost control. I'll shuffle it one more time for good measure. Eek. Let's try that one more time. Let's see if my itty bitty hands can't keep control of the cards this time. There we go. Alright, so. Whoop. Here I go again. And let us do one more. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay. Yeah, see? I'm sensing one more. There we go. Yep. Okay, so this definitely makes sense. Like I said before, transformation, certainty, and confidence. The amethyst card came up for you, so it could very well be that the actual crystal amethyst might help you if you carry it with you at this time. Hidden path. See what I said about transformation and letting go of things, and may also mean letting go of a job, changing a job. Hidden path has to do with the marriage of spirit and matter. So you may very well have a job change coming, and changing a job to something that more aligns with your life path and this transformative cycle that's come up. Sacred Earth Mother is a message of love, so know that no matter what's going on, the universe has your back. Things are going to be okay. Even if it's scary, even if it stirs your anxiety that, oh my god, change, because if you're like me, I hate change. I like my normal set schedules, and I like things to be predictable. But life isn't always predictable, you know what I mean? Ocean of Eternal Love is about healing, creativity, and fertility. Fertility doesn't necessarily mean actual fertility or having a child. It could, but frequently it also means the birth of new beginnings, new ideas, and we've already had creativity come up already in a card for you. So it could be that your new path is in a creative venture and something that is going to be guiding you on your new path. So let's see. Who wants to talk to group 4? Let me try one more time because I don't know if it's just because I'm tired. Probably approaching 10 o'clock at night at this point. Okay. See, sometimes when I'm asking who wants to talk and it doesn't immediately pop out, it just takes a moment to clear your mind and give it one more shot. I had it happen a second time that none of the decks popped out. I would have said, okay, you're all set. Yeah, something financial is coming for you. That's without me even picking up a card. I just had a flash of it. I think it's going to be beneficial. I think it's going to be positively financial. I see it most likely coming with a new job. So it's not like you're going to be winning the lottery. It's just, I have a feeling that if there's a new job opportunity, it's going to result in more prosperity. Interesting. See, this card popped up in another one. Okay, so frequently in transformative cycles, some of the things that you need to do is still take time to breathe, because especially when things are moving fast, you need to take a moment to stop, meditate, take a breath, in order to make sure that you are able to maintain your equilibrium a bit. It says your commitment is being tested, so it often happens when we are at our times when we are especially delving into something new, that it feels sometimes like you're beating your head against a wall. And it's like, I'm not getting anywhere, I'm not getting anywhere, I'm not getting anywhere. And it frequently happens in those moments where you just want to give up, that's the moment right before something breaks for you. So know that if you're meeting challenges, if you're meeting some resistance, not a lot. If there's a lot of resistance, then it may mean you have to divert a little bit or go about things a little bit differently. But if you're feeling some resistance, know that sometimes the universe, before it gives you something really wonderful and really amazing in your life, it's going to test you to make sure that you are still going to maintain that mentality of being grateful of what you have, being grateful for the things that you want, being grateful for everything in your life, both the positive and the negative, because even the negative has an impact on our lives and helps, as I frequently will say, sometimes the things you want are the biggest blessings when you don't get them, and you may not always see why, and you may not always know why, but it could be that the thing that you wanted wouldn't have been a very good thing in the long run. So it says your dreams need a practical plan, so don't be afraid to, I know sometimes in some readings it says just trust the universe, just let things go and trust the universe and put it all in the hands of the universe. No, this one is telling you point blank period to be a little bit logical here. Put some hard and fast practical plans in action. This is a card that coincides with people who remind me of myself a bit, especially when it comes to planning and scheduling, and maybe people who are not so random in their thinking of, or spontaneous. Plan it out, figure it out, put that plan into action. And it says a personal issue reaches a resolution. So this may have to do with the letting go of people who no longer serve you. It may also have to deal with maybe there is somebody who you're unintentionally shutting out, and maybe you're able to reconnect with that person and figure out that they're not actually somebody you want or should be shutting out. Want to or should be shutting out, I should say. So anyway, this has been your reading, and I hope it helps you. I hope it gives you some guidance. And until next time, blessed be.